We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Past 24 hours, we've seen 34 new cases of COVID-19 here in Utah.
Following breaking news out of Utah, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City.
We need 100 to 150,000 tests a day.
Yo, what is going on? DreRawka, another Isolation20 podcast. I was about to call it an ISO pod. I love it. I love the fact that I started this podcast during the pandemic, right? This was at a time when we were all locked down. There was nothing we can do. My business was shut down. Literally, we couldn't do anything, right? And so I was like, yo, let's just podcast, right? I got my equipment in my room. Let's do it. And so I did, and that's where Isolation20 Podcast came from, because I was isolated, right? I had me, myself, and I, and that's what you get on this podcast. And I'm super excited to just be with you today. You know, I'm more and more getting grateful for what I have and the opportunities I create, and just the people that I surround myself with, because of situations like what happened in Buffalo, right? A normal day. Where and mind you, I haven't did the deep dive. You know, they're talking about this white supremacist. There was a long history of this stuff. You know, he got expelled from school and all this other stuff. I haven't dove into those things, but just standing back and looking at the situation where this man, I shouldn't even say this man, this coward, this white supremacist goes into this grocery store and targets African-American people, black people, right? Killed 10, shot 13. It's terrible, man. It's a terrible thing. And, you know, I feel really, really bad saying this, but it's not a surprising thing no more, right? Like these mass shootings, these pop-up shootings, these acts by cowards is not nothing new, right? We've seen this so many times over and over and over and over again, which is why I take a step back and I look at my blessings, right? I'm very blessed to be alive, you know? Who knows? You know, they say that you walk past like 16 murders in your lifetime. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of murders to be walking by. And it's terrible, man. It's terrible what happened. Thoughts and good energy to the families of the victims, anybody that was, in that store that day, because that would think about the people that did not make it. Horrible, right? A horrible thing to see, a horrible thing to go through, right? Traumatic. PTSD is going to be on the rise in whoever was in that store that day and a long time after that. Like, it's going to be scary going to a grocery store, something that we should be able to do with no worries, right? It's going to be scary for those people. And I'm very, I think about my blessings and just I don't know what's coming up, right? I could go through that same type of situation, but for right now in this moment, I haven't. And I'm very lucky and I'm very blessed to say that I haven't. And I count my blessings all the time. But it makes you think, it makes you keep your head on a swivel. When you go to the grocery store, please make sure you're keeping your head on a swivel. Watch people, watch their body language, watch, how your exits, right? Watch where you can get out of somewhere and what can be used as a weapon. I do that everywhere I go, even down to when I'm alone, like in my studio. Like, if somebody came through that door right now, am I going to be prepared to defend myself? And the answer to that is hopefully yes. Like, I hope I will. I hope, there's what they say, there's three things that you do. You either fight, flight, or you freeze, right? I hope I don't freeze. I hope that I either run or I hope I can fight. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, thoughts and prayers go to those victims, to the people that were involved in that act of terrorism. But things are in my life are looking good though. Like, not to downplay anything that anybody's went through. It's beautiful outside, man. Utah is about to hit that summer. We've already hit our 80-degree days. It's warming up. It's warming up in Salt Lake. And if you're not from Utah, it's that dry heat. It's really weird. Utah, we have a really weird relationship with weather here, right? it could be 80 degrees and sunny, and then an hour later it'll be snowing, right? And then or not even that. It could be super sunny on one side of the valley and then snowing on the other side of the valley and then downpouring on another with rain. It's really weird. But I love where we live. I love Salt Lake so much because the people that I've encountered, right? I feel like we choose who's in our life, right? So if you have drama in your life, most likely you have something to do with it. Right? Because you could change that. The people that are in your life, you choose to have them in your life, regardless if it's your family members, a friend, coworkers, whatever it is, you choose to have that person in your life. I feel like the only people that you can't really you can get rid of anybody in your life, but the only people that you really can't, right, is like your immediate family. Of course, you can do like the divorce thing but like your kids, like you, for me, I don't think there's anything that my kids can do. I say that loosely, right? Because if my kids end up like a Jeffrey Dahmer or something, I might have to be like, yeah, I'm not claiming this one. But it would take a lot for me to disown my kids. But even then, if it's the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, I just might. You know what I mean? Like, there are some things in life where it's like that is pushing it to the limit. But as far as right now, I haven't had to worry about that, which is something I'm super excited about. Like, I'm happy I don't have to worry about those things yet. And I say yet very, very cautiously because it could happen. Could happen. And it is what it is. If it does, we'll handle the what it is then. But I met a really cool 14-year-old over the weekend. That sounded really bad, but I met a really cool kid. His name is, I'm trying to find his name, Elias Chillin. That's his first and last name. And I met this kid through one of my homies, Mike. You might know him as Mike Skills. He was a part of a legendary hip hop group here in Utah called Lump Sum. He's a DJ. He had a radio show, the OG show, an internet radio show, and just a solid dude, man. And a tattooer. He tattoos. He makes beats. Multi-talented individual this guy is. And he hit me up maybe about a month ago and was like, Dre. And mind you, he hit me up like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, Dre. He's like, my nephew, he's a big fan. He likes what you do and whatnot. Would you mind coming and DJing his 14th birthday? I was like, of course, man. No doubt. Let's do it. So he gives me the address. And typically, I got to preface, typically when I go to a birthday party that I'm DJing, I'll bring, especially if it's like a backyard boogie, I'll bring like a case of beer, for the parents, man, like a little bottle or something, like just say thank you, you know what I mean? Hospitable. But he gave me the address and it was in Harriman. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Like if it was, if it was Murray, Salt Lake, Westville, Glendale, Rose Park, maybe even Midville, pushing it. Like Midville, if it's like Sandy and over, or like North Salt Lake and above, if it's Ogden, of course, I'm gonna pull up with case with Ogden, pull up with a few cases, but this was a Harriman address. Yeah, so if you're not from Utah, again, I always say that if you're not from Utah, because I do have friends and family all over the nation that listen. Mind you, we just got new hits in different countries. We got, I think it was like it was in Africa somewhere. It was some country in Africa, and then Germany's lit right now and in the surrounding areas of Germany. So I think that's my nephew, Tyrell. He's a star rugby player out there for the national team for Germany. I know he be sharing my stuff. He has to, because I'm seeing all these Europe plays come up, and I'm like, oh man, like how do people in Europe know about me? So but yeah, so whenever I say that, it's because we're international people. We making it. So this town or this city in Harriman, right, in Utah, it's not how do I say this politically? I'm just gonna say it. There's not a lot of people that look like me out in Harriman. So we proceed with caution. Not to say that it's for me, my experience is very much church, very much church. There's not a lot of parties that I go to in Harriman, right? So I proceeded with caution. I didn't show up with the case. I didn't show up with the bottle. I showed up very pleasant. You know, my music wasn't bumping when I got into the neighborhood. So I was proceeding with caution. And so I get there, and mind you, Mike's Mexican, like straight up Chicano. And so we get in there, and he's introducing me to his family and whatnot. And Sam, shout out to Sam. He was the father. He's a Guatemalan brother. And then Mike's sister, who's the mom, right? To Elias. And I was like, oh, man. And then the grill's going. And Sam's like, yo, you want a Modelo? Here you go, man. I was like, oh, what? I was like, my bad, bro. I was like, I would have showed up with a case. Usually I do. I'll show up not empty-handed. But I got the address of Harriman. So I was like, probably not the best thing. So I didn't come through with the case, but next time, chilling family, I got you. I'll pull up with the case, and also I got to pull up with the bottle too, right? Like, got to do it right, got to do it proper. Speaking of proper, I DJ. No, did I DJ? Oh no, after that, I went to a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. That's home base. My boy Angel, he showed up with me and we had some dinner. If you are looking, cause I'm on this weight loss journey, right? I've been telling you about how it's going, and it's going well. Like, I'm feeling good. We hit the first Sunday workout in a week, right? We took a week off from I took a week off for Mother's Day, and I wasn't feeling well. But now, as you can see, I'm feeling good. My voice is back, and I was hungry. And they were offering me tacos and stuff like that at the barbecue, but I was trying to, stay tough, right? Not eat the carbs and all the other stuff that, is not the best. And so I was like, man, I'm hungry, but I don't want to stop nowhere. I'm not cooking tonight for sure because I'm beat. So, of course, go to a bar named Sue, get my Sue salad. She could really call it the Dre salad because I literally get all the veggies on it. And it's really good. They stack it high. If you see my salad, pause. It's big. And so if you're watching your calories, watching what you eat or whatever that is, a bar named Sue, get their salad, man. So delicious, so good. But it was nice to go to the bar and not have to work, not have to DJ. It's not all the time I get to do those things. Like, I literally, whenever I'm at the bar or out at a club or whatever, I'm working. I'm not just chilling. Like, you'll never see me in the bar or at the club just chilling, unless it was a night like last Saturday where I was hungry. Wifey was in Ogden at the time, and I didn't want to go home and just be alone, so I went to the bar with the homies and had some din.
Ref, time out.
Hey everybody, my name is Daniel. I'm the admin of the Jazz Nation social media pages, and of course a lifelong Utah Jazz fan. And now I'm also the host of the Jazz Nation Podcast.
And I'm Will Wonder, lifelong Orlando Magic fan. Whoa, hey, relax. And co-host of the Jazz Nation Podcast.
Each week, check in with us to hear all things Utah Jazz related. Scores, predictions, player movement, and everything in between.
We will also have some really fun interviews with current and former Jazz employees and players.
Once again, that's the Jazz Nation Podcast. Find us wherever you stream podcasts. Bye-bye.
I just got news that Crooked Eye and Dizaster are going to be battling. Now, the thing about this is that Crooked Eye, he's on that level of rappers that we know, right? We've heard of Crooked. We know the caliber of rapper he is, right? I mean, he was arguably one of the most lyricism? One of the dopest hip hop groups with lyricism, right? Of course, there's many different groups that have great talents in them, but when you have, Mousy, Royce, Joel, and you have Crooked, all those dudes are beasts. Now, granted, Joel didn't have the career that we thought he would. He's still my favorite Slaughterhouse member. But you look at guys like Joe, who had a phenomenal music career. I say phenomenal loosely. He had some bangers, and he's respected, right, in the music space and in the media space. And then you got Royce. Royce is he's rapping. He has a group with Eminem. Like, he's bar none is one of the dopest MCs to ever do it. Crooked's up there with those guys, right? He raps with those guys, and so to see him put his hat in this battle, it's a lot, because he can easily be like, yo, I'm dope, because he's proven that. But now he's proven himself in the battle space, where he's going to be taking on a beast in Dizaster. Dizaster has showmanship. Dizaster has lyricism. Dizaster is the guy. Like, this is him going up against KD in the rap battle league. Like, it's a pretty big battle. So to see somebody of Crooked's caliber, I mean, we've seen it with Cassidy, right? We've seen it with Joe. And these guys, they put their name in that. That's why people were looking, because Drake is very much into the battle rap league, right? He loves battle rap. So when people were like, yo, we want to see Drake step into the ring, and Drake kind of entertained it. I mean, I think we might see Drake in a rap battle sometime. But this battle against Dizaster, this one could really, 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 really help him. I see it as a win-win. One, because we don't know Crooked as a battle rapper, right? But for him to put his name in this rap battle league and take a battle, if he wins and he beats somebody of Dizaster's caliber, you can't argue it. You know what I mean? Joe battled with Hollow the Don, and granted, the crowd wasn't really going with Joe. And Joe, I don't even think Joe finished the battle. I think Joe ended some of his raps early, just because the crowd, it wasn't the right platform for somebody like Joe, for Hollywood, or not, I shouldn't say Hollywood, but a rapper of that notoriety to battle in front of everybody. I think it was the crowd, it just wasn't there for Joe. But for Crooked, Crooked is still kind of under the radar. People know him. If you're in hip hop, you know Crooked I, or King Crooked. So I think that we're gonna see some high level lyricism. I just hope that they learned their lesson in not having the crowd, not letting the crowd do whatever they want. Like, there has to be some type of respect there. You got to allow these guys to rap and get their bars off. Because if not, man, then we get shortchanged, man. Then we don't really get to see what could happen, right? Back in 2007, 2006, I was introduced to a guy named Casper, who had this really cool internet platform that he was creating called Dog 'Em Out. And the website was dogemount.com. It's no longer exists now. But he had this technology, right? He had this patent to put this form or this figure on this side of the screen, this form or this figure on this side of the screen, and you be able to vote on which one you like the most. I know it sounds super simple, but this was before social media. This was, I shouldn't say before social media. It was before the social media boom, right? Like, MySpace really got their boom in 2005. Like 2004, 2005 is when MySpace really took off. And so when I met Casper, we were thinking about, okay, how can we market? How can we implement this platform? Well, it's very much this versus that, right? And it only made sense that it was a hip hop thing, right, with the rap battles. And so, there's a lot of story in between that, but we ended up doing hosting rap battles all over the city. Orange Street was one of the first bars that we hosted rap battles at. And this was when I was still in high school. So I wasn't supposed to be in there, but I was. And, I bring up that story because it made me realize, like, I've been missing high level rap battles in Utah for a while now. You know, Dogemout.com was one of the first to do it, if not the first to do it on like bringing elite MCs. I'm talking about guys like at the time his name was Joe Swan. He goes by Sick Burner now. Dumb Luck, Synchro Nice. Man, so many dope battlers, you know. My guy Dre Day, Johnny Battleseed. Like some of these guys don't even rap no more. But just high level rap battlers, right? Guys with bars, guys with so much talent. And then it transitioned into like Mike Masters, and they did a really phenomenal job at it. And they just elevated it, right? The Dog 'em Out kind of started it, and then these other entities made it better as far as rap battle culture here in Utah. And it was beautiful, and it was something to look forward to. And there was a little tension, you know. There was always a little tension with these guys because it is like a fight, right? It's them versus them, right? It's like one person versus another person. He got his crew behind him. She got her crew behind her, whatever. You know what I mean? They're going at it. And what you would hear in these raps was gut punching, right? And I miss that. And that's the excitement. Like the excitement when I got that announcement that King Crooked and Dizaster were going at it, that they're about to go battle. Like this is coming from guys that would really like do the research and slaughter guys with their own words and stuff like that, man. There's such a beautiful art to rap battling, and I hope, and I always tell Synchro this, I'm always like, yo, bring Mike Masters back. I hope eventually somebody will do it. I hear that there's some low level rap battles going on in the city still, but I'm talking about elite. Like I want those elite guys those guys that when you hear them rap, you just want to just take your face off and just fucking go headbutt a chick. Like I don't promote domestic violence, but I'm just saying like that ugly, gritty, like, oh man, like that hurt. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. And then just like funny bars too, because there's so many lyricism or lyricists that even have like, it's not always about gun bars and stuff like that. They have some funny bars. Like one of my favorites was from I think it was Mike Masters. It was a Mike Masters battle, and Young Rip, rest in peace, Young Rip, a local WVC legend, man. If you don't know Young Rip, man, I don't know what to tell you. That dude, go look at some of his battles. He was a producer, you know what I mean? Like that guy, I remember talking to that dude and just like, he's just a funny guy, you know what I mean? But he was also like, he was just a real one, you know what I mean? For lack of better words, he was just a real one. And one of the bars that he said in one of his battles was, he told, who was it? Was it Johnny? I forget who he told, but he was like, yo, your parents only let you listen to Christmas music. It's just something as simple as that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, right? And then the guys like Dumb Luck that's going against a guy from California in one of the battles. He's like, yo, I'm tired of you California kids coming to Salt Lake, or I'm paraphrasing, but essentially he's like, I'm tired of you California kids thinking that Salt Lake isn't scary till you get jumped by a Tongan Crip gang missionary. I was like, oh my gosh, he just said that. Like it's true. Like we've all went to school with the kid that was at Sunday service, but then on Monday he'll stuff you in the locker and give you a wedgie and a noogie. Like we know these people. And we've seen it in the misconceptions, man. Like the way I started off, right? The misconception of Harriman. Harriman gets busy. Now, I learned that. So next party I go to, I'm coming through with a case of Corona, Modelo, maybe Pacifico, because I'm on a budget. And then if it's not the party for that, then, hey, worst case scenario, I could put it back in my trunk.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Horse.
And this is host Beefy.
Listen to the Beans and Rice Podcast.
Exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
Now, Chris Paul and the Suns. I gotta pull up that final score because Chris Paul and the Suns against the Dallas Mavericks. This went to Game 7, mind you. Dallas wasn't supposed to win this series. Dallas wasn't even supposed to beat Utah, but they ended up losing. Right, the Suns came through and they dropped the ball big time. All right, I just want to look at Game 7 because this is a Suns team that was supposed to win. They talking a whole bunch of trash, right? They swatting the ball out of Luka's hands and they just like big time, right? I wouldn't give them the "Are you dumb" moment if they weren't doing all this but they did, right? The final score, all right. No matter of fact, let's go Game 7, first quarter. Game 7, first quarter. The Dallas Mavericks outscore the Phoenix Suns 27-17. Not horrible, right? But then the second quarter goes up. Chris Paul 30-10. They outscored him 30-10. 20 points. Damn. 35-23 in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, 31-40. The Suns, of course, they kind of ball out in the fourth quarter. Why? Because everybody was off the court at that time, right? Final score 123-90 with the Dallas Mavericks moving on to the Western Conference Finals. Sending the Suns, not sending them nowhere because they were playing in Phoenix. Awful display of basketball. And this is coming from an overweight podcaster that likes to talk to a camera for a living. The thing that makes this better is that, I love an underdog story, right? But when you talk a bunch of trash, you better come up and show up and show out, because if not, you're going to get this. You're going to get this slander, right? That's crazy. You are a professional athlete. You should not get your ass whooped that bad. That's wild. This isn't the only "Are you dumb" moment I have for you today. Did you guys hear about the Arby's manager? Not even an employee, a manager that admitted to urinating in the milkshake mix. Yeah, man, it's awful. Just when we were about to get on the Arby's train, I can't remember the last person that was like, yo, let's go get some Arby's for lunch or dinner. Like, Arby's is kind of like you're driving by, you're like, all right, I'm not really feeling the McDonald's. I'm not really feeling BK. Rancheritos we had last night. We had Rancheritos the night before that. They were added a green sauce. Like, this is really the last level to what you're going to have for dinner, right? We have the meats. We got to say pause every time we see the commercial, right? But fun fact, when Push was on his last press run about his latest album, he let us know that, yo, the theme song for Arby's is actually his song, right? Him and Skrillex. And I looked it up. It's actually a pretty fire song. But that's the reason why we were rocking with Arby's for a minute, right? We hear Push is involved. We know that McDonald's kind of doing him weird, right? Pause. So now it's like, yo, we on this Arby's train. And then Arby's had to come up with this, man. Manager confesses to peeing in milkshake for sexual gratification. That's a lot of sick stuff, man. If you get sexual gratification for urinating in somebody's food, that's weird. It's like, ha, look at Susie over there drinking my piss. Like, that's some R. Kelly piss on you type of ish. Like, that's wild. That is really wild. Let's see. Another manager at the Vancouver Arby's says the restaurant serves somewhere between 30 to 40 shakes. God damn. One ice cream float. The badge shown the video. The police are now looking for someone who purchased a milkshake from the Arby's October 30th or 31st. Man, they did this on Halloween. That's not the type of treat we wanted. That's not the type of trip we wanted. No, that's not it. As for Sharp, who this is the ex-manager, right? He's being held on a $40,000 bail and is facing a laundry of list of charges. All right. That's disgusting for one, and it's wild. Like, yo, don't piss in my milkshake, my G. Like, yo, I didn't ask for that. I didn't. Did you eat Brussels sprouts? Is that vanilla Brussels sprouts? Like, nah, my G. That's not good. That's not healthy. No, don't do that. Somebody's about to stick their piss in his milkshake in jail. And but, oh, you the milkshake king, huh? Come here, let me show you what the boys got in the yard. So not too long ago, me and the wifey, we were looking for stuff to watch, right? We're always looking for the next series or the next movie that we want to watch on Netflix, on Hulu, or whatever, right? Hence, Down in Front. So we just found this documentary called The Pharmacist, right? I've been talking about it. I was talking about it on the other side of the beehive. I talked about it on a couple different podcasts, but for those of you that have not heard about this documentary, I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. It came out February 5th, so I was a little bit late, but better late than never. Let me read you the premise of the show, which, by the way, IMDb gave it a 7.7 out of 10. I would have rounded it up to just an 8, man. 8 out of 10. It was done really well. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 89. After losing his son in a drug-related shooting, small-town pharmacist Dan Schneider embarked on a crusade to bring a reckoning against the powerful figures behind the nation's devastating opiate epidemic. My bad. Put a D in there. So pretty much that. His son was murdered due to him going to the lower 9th ward in Louisiana, right? Long story long, he found out that it wasn't the shooters, like it wasn't the shooters that killed his son. It was the fact that he was an addict and that he went to go get these drugs is what killed his son. So he wanted to do something about it because the police wouldn't, right? So he ended up solving his own son's murder because the cops didn't care about him. And on top of that, he ended up going up against Big Pharma. This is at the height of Oxycontin, right? The miracle drug, the drug that doctors thought that would just, here, take this and you'll be good, right? Well, come to find out, you were actually creating zombies, Big Pharma. You created zombies, and now this pharmacist has to try to take you out. He's like the Jean-Claude Van Damme of the healthcare world, right? Without the mullet, by the way. But he ended up taking down a very big doctor in Louisiana that was prescribing like twice the amount of opioids, Oxycontin, than she was supposed to. That trickled into more and more doctors being held accountable. But you thought that would be the great thing, right? That would be the hooray. That's the end of the story. That's great. Yeah, we got a control on the opioids. Well, I mean, druggies didn't find their fix, right? Well, here comes heroin. Yeah, that's cheaper. It's easier. And they can get it super super quick and super easy, right? It's kind of like a nice double cheeseburger. Like, you're hungry, you want it, it's cheap, but after you eat it, you're like, fuck, man. I'm gonna do something with my life, man. I'm done with these, man. I'm done with these double cheeseburgers. These ain't doing nothing for me, right? It's almost like that. Double cheeseburger, heroin, same shit. So The Pharmacist, it's on Netflix. I highly suggest you check it out. I know I didn't sell it to you. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just really telling you about a movie that me and my wife watched. That's it. Oh, another one. I got a little note here. So Hulu. I typically don't get on Hulu. We got Hulu because it came with the package with Disney Plus and ESPN. Trust me, I know I'm getting taken advantage of. But this movie here, this series here, makes me feel good. Makes me feel so good about getting taken advantage of. Let me get my Halle Berry on. Monsters Ball.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted Podcast with DreRawka. We are? No, they are. Yeah, oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and G Daddy Funk on Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on the Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and be like, and yeah, man, hey. And they could catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G Daddy Funk,
wow,
on
that's
the
a
Lake
lot
Talk
of people.
801. Who cares?
What did he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but this probably should be the ad.
Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
You know what? Let me pull up Candy because I want to see what the internet is saying about Candy. I want to see what ratings Candy is getting right now. Mind you, the wife, she was like, "Yo, my coworkers, they're talking about this new show on Hulu called Candy. It's starring Jessica Biel. We all love Jessica Biel, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. By the way, the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was ever done was the one with Jessica Biel in it. Super ill, especially the director's cut where I guess I'm spoiling it for you. I mean, it's been out for like 15, 20 years now, but if you haven't seen it by now, go fuck yourself. So the premise of this, right? So not the premise, but in the director's cut of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the brothers, right? They both alive, but one of them can't really walk, right? And so they have this push-up. He's like, the little sheriff guy, he's like, all right, you do your push-ups and I'll let your brother go. And so he's like doing his push-ups and he's like killing it. And then he ends up like breaking his back. And he's still trying to do these push-ups. It's crazy. So definitely the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre out there. Will Wonder is the horror fanatic. He'll tell you better than me. Actually, Wonder, I want to know, what is your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Better not be that last one. That last one was trash. So yeah, so Candy on Hulu. Starring Jessica Biel, Melanie Linsky, Pablo Schreiber, Timothy Simmons, and Raul Esparza. Pablo Schreiber, you might recognize him from Den of Thieves. I believe he was the main thief in Den of Thieves. And then of course Jessica Biel. But let me just look at. I want to see what IMDb is giving this. It's giving it a 7.4 out of 10. Good rating. Google users are giving it 88%. So Cindy, by the way, loosely based off of a true story. Not fully a true story, but loosely based off a true story. Kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So Candy Montgomery is a 1980s housewife and mother who did everything right. A good husband, 2 kids, even the careful planning and execution of transgressions. Is that affairs? That's affairs, right? But when the pressure of comfort tea builds up, her actions scream for a little bit of freedom. So, all right, let me just break it down like this. Housewife, 2 kids, husband, small United States suburb, right? Christian neighborhood. They go and they give pies to new neighbors type of thing, right? Leave the door unlocked. It's in the 80s, right? They were doing that in the 80s, 70s, 80s. So it starts off, the writing of this show is so good. I'm on episode 5 right now. I believe we're on 5. But the writing on this show is so good. The way that and the cinematography is done really well too. It starts off with the ending pretty much, right? I'm not going to ruin it for you because it is super fresh. It's super new. And I want you to watch it. I think you will really enjoy it. The beginning, first episode, first 30 minutes, kind of slow, kind of boring. But if you give it a shot, right? You give it that, that chance to kind of warm it up. You know what I mean? Warm it up. Kind of like me in bed. Kind of trash at first, but then, I could kind of make up for it later on, babe. Sorry. I think you'll really enjoy it. We're loving it right now. We got past that first 30 minutes, and now I love it. Again, Candy on Hulu. Definitely a good watch. And I just found out in some comedy news, Cat Williams, his special is coming to Netflix. Let's see if I can find some more information. So Cat Williams' comedy special, World War III, is now available on Netflix. Oh, it's already on. The hour-long special was filmed in Las Vegas and is ready for your consumption. Now, Cat, I was watching, what was I watching? I forget what I was watching, but it was an interview, and Cat was it was with Arsenio Hall. It was Just Jokes on Netflix. Arsenio Hall was asking him about comedy and about his life and whatnot, and Cat was explaining how Like typically you hear the stories about these bigger acts. They'll take their latest hour, their latest special, and they'll try it in little clubs, right? Whether if it's like the Comedy Store or wherever, right? They'll take it on the road and they'll try it out, and they'll make their special perfect. Cat doesn't do that. Cat was like, yo, I do it, and if it's not good, it's not good. He's like, he's like, you pretty much, you miss all the shots you don't take, is what Cat was saying. You know what I mean? And I was kind of confused on that, because I'm like, yeah, but those players also stay after in the gym and shoot 1,000 free throws to get it right, to get the rhythm right. They go and they study that playbook over and over again to get it right. So I was kind of confused on it, but I mean, it's Cat Williams. He's a great. I mean, we've seen him. He has notable specials, notable liners, notable performances in Hollywood. Like, Cat's a legend, man. I know that he had the fight with the little 10-year-old and he got his ass whooped by a child. I get it. I mean, there's a child out there that could beat your ass right now. Yeah, try going to your son or your daughter's elementary school. You'll see a 10-year-old with a bigger mustache than your husband, right? Or maybe your wife, if she has a hairy lip. I'm just saying. Yeah, so I'm going to go home and check it out. I didn't realize that it was out today. So I'm going to go check out Cat Williams, World War III. All right, well, now we're into sports. You know, UFC 275, Teixeira versus Pro Chazaka. Sorry. Hey, I'm just a fan. I'm not the expert in the UFC. If you want to see expert analysis from your number one MMA podcast, go check out the Damage Plan MMA podcast or talk to my man Justin from the other side of the Beehive. I'm just here because I'm going to be working at a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street, June 11th for UFC 275. Glover Teixeira, man, he's a legend. He's a whole legend. I look forward to it. But most importantly, this whole card, my favorite fighter, Valentina Shevchenko. She'll be fighting Santos for the women's flyweight belt for the co-main event. I'm excited about that. While Li Zhang is going to be fighting Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I think is that a rematch? I believe they fought before. I could be wrong. But that's gonna be exciting. Oh, what? I just found out that Marvin Vettori and Robert Whittaker got canceled. That's a bummer. Why does Robert Whittaker's fights always get canceled? I feel like he never just fights. Like, there's always something weird that goes on with it. Yeah, that's weird. I was kind of looking forward to that. But hey, the women, they're going to be running this card. 2 big fights, and they're both from women fighters. Valentina, I hope she gets this win. She's coming off of a 22-3 ranking right now. Valentina, man, she's only 34. I didn't realize that. That's crazy. I want to see, how old is Glover Teixeira? 42. OG. 33-7 in the UFC. That's going to be fun. That's a light heavyweight fight, which Izzy would take both of them dudes out. Definitely. UFC 275. Come out, man. Come watch some fights with us. A bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually working on, hopefully, it'll be cool. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to put it out there just yet. I hate saying stuff that I'm working on and I say something about it and then it doesn't come through, because it's like, man, you shouldn't have said nothing. So I'm not going to say what I was about to say, but I will share it on an upcoming podcast. But definitely check out Fierce Fighting Championship. I think I can say it now because my man Jason spilled the beans already. Fierce Fighting Championship number 20. All right. Now I DJ'd 19. Jason just let me know that I'm going to be DJing 20 as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Come support Utah local MMA at the Maverick Center. June 25th. This is my birthday weekend. I'm excited for this one. At the Maverick Center. The main event is, so if you went to number 19, he's oh my gosh, what country is he from? Oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind right now. I forget. But he was a dope fighter. He Mongolian. That's what it is. He's from Mongolia. But in that fight that he had was a killer fight. So if you remember the Mongolian, he came in, he had the hat and stuff. He'll be fighting in the main card or the main event, June 25th at the Maverick Center for Fierce Fighting Championship number 20. Along with that, I just found out Ben Moa is going to be fighting as well on the co-main event, I believe. A lot of good things coming out of Utah MMA right now. I am so excited for everything that Utah is getting right now. Make sure you jump on the wave. You know, even if you're not into MMA, come to the fights. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll have fun. Like, I mean, how many times do you sit down and you watch it? I mean, I guess baseball's a bad example. Well, no, baseball's a good example. Like, most people don't sit there and watch a baseball game, right? But when you go to the actual baseball game, you have a great time, man. Like, catch a foul ball. You might see somebody get hit in the face with a foul ball. You might see the dude, Derek, and the rest of the fraternity saying racist remarks. You know what I mean? It's all good. It's like, hey, it's a part of baseball, eh? It's a part of baseball. And it's 1, 2, 3 N-words, we out at the old bar game. No, I'm just playing. I've never been attacked verbally with some racism at a baseball game. I don't know why I said that. It was very stereotypical. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. How about we close it out? I am thankful. I am so thankful that you click play. Maybe somebody shared this podcast with you. Maybe you just found it on your own. Regardless, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time to hear me flap my gums and say nonsense. A lot of it not true. A lot of it true. But you'll never know. You'll never know. You'll never know unless you just follow this train of unrestrictedness. Shout out to All Rock Media. That is the place to be. That's the studio. That's the production. All Rock Media. If you are somebody that wants to start a podcast or start your YouTube channel or need advice or anything like that, hit me up at DreRawka, DreRawka on Instagram. That's the best way to reach me, unless you just see me in the street and then just say what up, but come with a check. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, say what up. I will be at a bar named Sue, like I said, I'll be out there May 28th. I'll be there Memorial Day weekend, 8136 South State Street. So if you want to come, have a brew, have some water, try the salad that I rave about all the time. I'm sure some of the homies will be there too. So maybe you want to network with some of these other podcasters and musicians. You know what I mean? Come through. We have a blast all the time. I got some cool things in the works right now. Some upgrades and stuff like that, including bringing Zumba upstairs. Just playing. For those of you that just that don't know about the Zumba class below me, they go ham every time I'm recording. They go ham downstairs, but it's okay because we're all inclusive. They're the next on All Rock Media downstairs. We're gonna have things playing in the background. All right, share my shit. Pay women more, and you'll have the day you deserve. We out. Peace.